Okay, this question I have is for Ms. Mendrala. Thank you for your testimony, ma'am. Twice in your statement, you say the Biden-Harris administration has repeatedly stated that MPP has endemic flaws, imposes unjustifiable human costs, and pulls resources and personnel away from other priorities. Now, can you justify that statement for me? I mean, do you support it? First off, do you support MPP?
Thank you for the question, sir. As my colleague from DHS recently stated, the administration has repeated. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you.
I've got you now.
Okay, as my colleague from DHS has repeatedly said, the administration has stated on several occasions that that it does disagree with the policy of MPP, but is nevertheless committed to the rule of law and to implement in good faith the court order to re-implement MPP.
Okay, but you say it has endemic flaws, imposes unjustifiable human costs. All right, I'm not seeing unjustifiable human costs. I'm not seeing endemic flaws in the MPP. In fact, I think it is a vital program that is both fair and necessary. The MPP is the law of the land, and the courts have rightly ordered DHS to implement it. So that's what DHS needs to be doing, and doing it wholeheartedly. The purpose of the MPP is to ensure people that are coming illegally across our border stay in Mexico, those who have that desire and that request for asylum, that they stay outside our country so that they don't just forget to show up for their asylum hearing and end up in our country as an illegal immigrant. So I think it's a very important program. I think that the administration is way off base in fighting this program. Obviously, it is the law, it's legal, it's fair, it's humane. All right. I don't believe the court would have ordered it to be implemented if it imposed unjustifiable human costs. I think that's totally inappropriate or had endemic flaws. My next question for you, in your testimony, you say state PRM is supporting facilitation of human transportation for MPP enrollees in Mexico between shelters and ports of entry. Our international organization partner provides this transportation assistance. So who pays for this? Are there tax dollars involved?
Yes, sir. It's funded by the Department of State through our Bureau of Population, Refugees, and Migration.
Okay, so there are tax dollars involved here. All right, so what you're saying then is you're paying for transportation in another country, in Mexico, to bring these people from wherever they are to the port of entry. You know, they got to the border by themselves the first time they showed up. And now here we are paying, using taxpayer dollars to bring them for wherever they are in Mexico back to the border for their hearing. Now, what is your obligation under the law to provide that transportation?
So the court ordered us to re-implement in good faith MPP and do so recognizing that the government of Mexico is a party to that agreement. Over the course of several months, we negotiated with the government of Mexico the terms of re-implementing MPP. The government of Mexico had several concerns with the prior iteration of MPP implementation, humanitarian concerns with which we agreed. And one of the concerns was that individuals returned under MPP fell victim oftentimes to criminal organizations upon their return. And so we took several steps in concert with the government of Mexico to improve the humanitarian conditions for those MPP enrollees in Mexico.
So what you're saying then is that without the United States paying that transportation, that MPP probably would not have been negotiated between Mexico and the United States. Is that right?
We negotiated several aspects of humanitarian treatment of MPP enrollees in Mexico, and security concerns were at the top of that list. Mexico is also providing security accompaniment to those transportation routes to and from ports of entry. And the Department of State is also working with international organization partners to facilitate shelter, to improve Wi-Fi access at shelter so individuals can have access to counsel while in Mexico, and other services as well.
You know, I wish we treated our United States citizens that well. I just don't see it. And I just don't see treating folks who have broken the law as they have done here and giving them all these benefits. Is all that does is encourage more people and more people and more people to illegally enter this country. And that's a disgrace. And I yield back. Well, thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Mr. Green, are you aware of any legal ports of entry that are closed?
No, sir, I'm not.
Okay, all right. I didn't think so. I didn't think there were any legal ports of entry that were closed. So there should be no reason that an illegal or that an immigrant who wants to come here under a case of asylum couldn't go to a legal port of entry. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That's my understanding.
Okay, all right. So let me ask you another question about MPP. Obviously, you know, the Trump administration was the one who implemented it. And then on February 5th, 2021, President Biden issued Executive Order 14010 to suspend it. And then he had Secretary Mayorkas review it. And then on June 1st, 2021, Secretary Mayorkas determined that MPP should be terminated and issued a memorandum on that effect, or to that effect. Less than 2.5 months later, the U.S. District Court in Northern Texas determined that that was not legal, and the Secretary was not in compliance with the Administrative Procedures Act, and ordered the DHS in good faith to re-implement the MPP program. So there's already a roadway for the implementation of the MPP program, and it had only been just a few months since it was officially terminated before it was ordered to be reinstituted. So how long do you think it should have taken, or should it have taken, to re-implement this particular program that had only been shut off literally for 2.5 months?
Well, sir, I think it should have been implemented, re-implemented immediately, because the statistics show that it works. And so I will also note that, per my previous comments about the cartels, what they're doing is they are controlling who comes across the border. Our best estimates is that the transnational criminal organizations charge between $5,000 and $10,000 per person to come across the border. In Arizona last fiscal year, we had about 305,000 apprehensions that we know about of people coming across the border. If we do the math and we say $10,000 a person at over 300,000 people coming in across the border, that doesn't even account for the recidivism rate or the getaways. We're looking somewhere in the ballpark of these transnational criminal organizations profiting approximately $3 billion on human smuggling alone. Those figures are what fuel their pockets in the drugs to then be trafficked and smuggled into the United States. So they're using the human smuggling side to fuel other dangerous criminal enterprises. And that's really what's considered most significant and of concern to us on the ground. And that's why we've seen the governor take significant action.
And those are absolutely terrible statistics. Imagine if our government, basically that's exactly what's happening. Our government is funding these criminal organizations, these cartels, through allowing illegal immigration to occur to the tune of $3 billion. It's stunning. You know, we as a government have to do better. I don't think that we are actually helping the immigrant at all by allowing them to come illegally when the legal ports of entry are truly open. With that, thank you, and I yield back.